Some people go throughout their entire lives, or at least a decent portion of their lives, carrying such great guilt for things that they have done. And they'll be reminded at certain times, and they'll do what they can to just suppress it. Stop thinking about it. They'll maybe, and sometimes, intoxicate themselves or just distract themselves. It could be with pleasure or with pursuit of success, and they just say, I've done these things wrong, and I don't want to keep hearing that gnawing kind of voice in my head reminding me of those sins. I want to move on. I don't want to talk about it. I just want to kind of go. But they find that they can never really get rid of that gnawing pain that they feel in their conscience. But in some cases, people find a way to have their conscience become so dulled that they just, as it were, sear their conscience. They say, I don't care. I didn't do anything wrong. I will use the narcotic of my self-righteousness, of the pursuits of this world, of pleasure, so as not to feel the need of forgiveness. And in both cases, there is great danger. Reason why: the burden of sin is still there. It's still looming. One person feels weighed down by it, another person doesn't feel it, but the reality is it's there. And if it is not dealt with, if it doesn't tumble down the hill, as it were, into the grave, never to be seen again as a result of seeing the cross, it will, as it were, drag someone down to the depths of perdition when they are judged righteously by a holy God in the lake of fire. But there is such great news in the gospel. Jesus Christ, the Son of God, born of a virgin, who lived a sinless life and then died the death that you and I deserve on the cross, not only bearing the wrath of man, as it were, but ultimately bearing the wrath of God, and then victoriously rising from the grave 3 days later. This is what Paul is getting to in that message. He says, through this man is preached to you the forgiveness of sins. All of those sins that gnaw at you, those sins that you try to suppress, you can have them all washed away. They are cast into the sea of forgetfulness. You can have a reaction like Christian had in Pilgrim's Progress, because after he's told to be of good cheer, his sins are forgiven him, and he's told a couple of other things as well. We see him declaring these words: thus far I did come laden with my sin, nor could aught ease the grief that I was in. Till I came hither, what place is this? Must here be the beginning of my bliss? Must here the burden fall from off my back? Must here the strings that bound it to me crack? Blessed cross, blessed sepulcher, blessed rather be the man that was put to shame for me. The greatest need that a person has is forgiveness, and the right response to receiving forgiveness is celebration. It's joy. If there's one thing that every one of you would want to make sure you don't leave this world without, you want to make sure you don't leave this life without the forgiveness of sins.